London Reels. Way better idea. Sponsored by Xbrain. What's the first thing you do when you get into work in the morning? Check your email, right? Wrong. I took a tip from Tim Ferriss, former guest on London Reel, and I'm now following the information diet. You see, when someone sends you a message on Facebook, email, or even Twitter, it's their agenda for your time. And what you need to focus on is your agenda. So I stay off the email and the messaging systems until 12 noon every day, and instead, I write that proposal that I need to, I make that phone call, or worst case, I compose an email, but I do it offline. That way, you can get the most done with your day and not just continually be reactive to those who are demanding your time. That's today's Way Better Idea, brought to you by the folks at Xbrain. If you want to check out their Way Better protein powder, it's grass-fed, it's free range. You can get 15% off with the customer code LondonReel. Click on the link below or go to xbrain.co.uk. Peace! You know, we have a large audience that's in the States and, they watch James Bond movies, but I don't know if they know the difference between some of the different organizations. And I was wondering if you could just quickly break down the definitions of MI5, MI6, and now GCHQ, which I didn't even know that much about.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, we have three primary intelligence agencies in the UK. MI5 is where I used to work, and that's the UK Domestic Security Service, which used to focus on counter-espionage and counter-subversion, the political stuff. And then they took on an increasing amount of counter-terrorism as well from the 1990s onwards. They are known officially as, or used to be, as UKSS, because that's what the UK Security Service stands for. One of our German colleagues pointed out it wasn't a terribly nice name.
Okay, from the SS and the German army. Okay, now I get it. Okay.
So they were supposedly just working to protect national security within the UK, but of course, as the global terrorism phenomenon has exploded, literally, their work is increasingly international as well. Then there is MI6, or Secret Intelligence Service, and they are an international intelligence gathering agency. So they're the sort of James Bond wannabes. They were just supposed to try and plant spies abroad in companies or embassies or whatever and get the raw material back and then send it into MI5 for analysis. And then you have GCHQ, which is Government Communications Headquarters, which is based down in Cheltenham, which used to be the most secretive agency and now, of course, is very much in the public consciousness after Edward Snowden. And they are the snoopers. They came out of Bletchley Park and they will hoover up all our electronic communications. And they are very unaccountable, shall we say.
Okay.
So
is that roughly equivalent to FBI, CIA, and NSA, or are the lines getting so blurred these days that it's really hard to say?
Almost, yeah. GCHQ is definitely very partnered up with the NSA. In fact, they've had decades-long complete sharing capability under a program called Echelon, which meant that they could snoop on each other's citizens, each other's countries, without any warrantry, without any oversight, and then share it with each other. So they get around any sort of democratic oversight. MI6, yes, very much the CIA. In fact, the CIA was modelled on them. MI5 is slightly different because they don't have police capability. They used to be more counterintelligence, counter-subversion. So they're not quite the same as the FBI. In fact, we have the Serious Organised Crime Agency here, which is really the UK FBI. Okay. So MI5 is unique. But they're all, a very British model. They've been around for 100 years. They evolved with no oversight. For the first 80 years of their life, there was nothing. No MPs could ask questions about them. They didn't officially exist. And they were there to stop Russians and to stop political subversives. Then, of course, that threat went away, and they're casting around for work. So rather than our government say, well, OK, what are the threats to our national security, and how can we best protect the UK's national security? They said, we have this agency, which has got free time on its hands. Let's find them new work, whether or not they're actually up to that job. So you get these old spooks then having to move into counter-terrorism, which is very, very different, where, fast-paced, investigative activities, and in the old days you had to gather evidence and put people on trial and things like that. And they had trouble trying to adapt. Plus, because they were so secretive, it was a bit of a sort of misfit democratically. Not, if they're trying to police people and put people on trial, but there's no real oversight like you have with the police. So it's a very British mess.
This week on London Reel, Bruce Perry of the BBC series Tribe.
I don't fancy my odds, really. I'm just going to visit these extraordinary people who really see the world in a different way. and really trying to engage with them in a way that I've never done before. We see everything as disconnected, whereas a lot of the rest of the world sees us all as intrinsically connected, not only physically but also through our mental states. You know, I'm riddled with my own problems, my own insecurities, my own traumas, my own ego that's getting in the way, so I'm going through my own healing as I go.
Understand the lesson that it's trying to teach you.
On Sunday, London Real presents Bruce Perry, Quest.
When you try it, something really special happens and magic comes back.